Besides being able to customize your routines, a fun feature that we've included is that you can actually add music to your routine from a selection of sound bites that we have that can complete your experience. The Empower feature, this one's really cool in that it shows you in real time the power of the adaptive microcurrent technology. It will also let you know when it's time to apply more of your product for optimal comfort and glide with your device. And I'll show you all of these in the demo. The IO score. So to get an IO score, it's a little bit different than LumaSpa IO, if you're familiar with that. With WellSpaiO, you're going to set a personalized goal, which is going to help you reach your wellness and beauty goals. And from there, we'll do some calculations based on your usage to see if you met your goals to reach that maximum IO score. And again, I will show that to you as part of the demo to illustrate that more. Okay, so now it's the time you've all been waiting for. I am going to share from my phone the connected features of WellSpaiO. So let me start sharing. Make sure it comes up. There we go. So a bit of a caveat here. I'm logged into the Singapore market, and so depending on your market, the language might change slightly, but the experience will still be the same. So I am on the homepage of Newson Singapore for Vera, and then on that main level navigation, it says devices. I'm going to go ahead and tap devices. So this is where all of your connected features live. I already have a LumaSpa connected, so you can see that I have a device there. In this case, of course, we're going to go through WellSpa. So I have my WellSpa right here with me. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to choose to pair a new device. I'm going to be given some information on how to go through the pairing process. Because we do now have more than one connected device, it will give me the option of what kind of device I want to connect. So in this case, WellSpaiO. I've already turned on my device. So I'll say connect. It's going to scan and automatically pair. One thing to note here is that we've streamlined the process. So if you are already familiar of pairing your LumaSpaiO to Vera, we've made some improvements. We've worked really, really hard to make it as quick and easy as possible because we know that there were some issues, especially at the beginning of LumaSpa with pairing. Another thing is that as part of the pairing process, if your device needs newer firmware, that would also happen. My device is already up to date on firmware, so that's why you don't see it. So, I mean, you saw as I was talking, pairing is already complete. And of course, we want to personalize the device, right? I name everything in my life. So it's really great that we can do the same thing with our devices. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a name. Trina's WellSpa. And I'm going to continue. So at this point, I'm all paired. I can start using the device, or I can continue going through the onboarding process. And what we want to do is introduce you to some of the benefits and the cool features of the device as part of onboarding. So go to the next screen. We're going to introduce those 3 types of routines: restore, revitalize, and rejuvenate. Or I believe it's relax in some markets as well. And so from here, if I'm ready, I can just jump right into routine. In this case, I'm not going to do that because I want to take you through the rest of the onboarding process. But if you're like, I just want to use my device, I want to see this, you can do it at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next screen. And here's where we're going to set that goal that I mentioned. So remember, the IO score is directly impacted by the goal. So it's really important that you do set that goal, not only to keep yourself on track with using the device, but also so you can optimize that number. I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite competitive. And even with my LumaSpa, I go in and I'm not happy if I don't get a 100 score, even though I usually don't get a 100 score. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my usage goal. And here's just a little bit of an overview of what that goal is and what you're going to find as you go through the process. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap on Let's Go. And also, if maybe you don't have time to set a goal right now, that's totally fine. You can tap on I'll do this later. It'll take you directly into your device details. And then at any point in time, you can go set that goal. So you don't think that if you don't have time or you're not really quite sure what you want to do at this point, you can always come back and set it later. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's go. So this first screen is going to give me a list of benefits I can see from regularly using my device. Now, a lot of these things Casey and Haley have already gone over, so you're hopefully pretty familiar with them already. But so if I look through this list, I'm gonna say, okay, what is important to me? What beauty benefits matter to me? So I would really like to look and feel better, reduce the appearance of cellulite. I have a beach vacation coming up in 2 weeks, you guys. I really need to start using my WellSpa so that I can maximize those results while I'm sitting on the beach. I would really like smoother and healthier looking skin also. So then if I go into the next screen, it's gonna say, great. Now, how many days per week are you gonna use the device? Now, some of us have busier lifestyles than others, and that's really the power of connecting the device to Vera, is that it allows that flexibility to customize this usage to your lifestyle. So if you have a little bit more time, maybe you want to use it 6 days a week, or maybe you're like me, and I'm not quite ready to commit to 5 days a week. 5 days a week is a lot of time. I'm going to go ahead and just say 4 days a week, since, I can still see results as long as I'm using the device, and 4 days a week is recommended for seeing those best results. So now, based on that information that I've provided to Vera, I'm going to receive a recommendation on how long to use the device on each of my body areas. So as I look at this, I can go ahead and customize this. Again, I mentioned I have a beach vacation coming up, and so maybe I want to spend a little bit more time on my abdomen so that I can depuff and really get that reduced appearance of cellulite and dimpling. So I'm going to increase my time to, let's say, 5 minutes, my abdomen. And the other 2 look okay, so I'm just going to leave that there. So now I have a total goal per day of using my device for 19 minutes. Now remember, I said I want to use this 4 days a week. So it's going to be 4 days a week, 19 minutes on each of those days. So I go to the next screen, it's going to give me a summary of that goal. That's exactly what I just said. So in my case, I want to use it 4 days a week. I want to use it 19 minutes total on each of those 4 days. And then in addition, Vera will say, okay, based on the benefits you want to see, these are the type of routines that we recommend you focus on. So in my case, it's the revitalize routines, and mix it up occasionally with the restore routine. So I'm going to go ahead and save my goal. Once that's done, I'm going to be on the device details page. So there's some different information on this page. And if you've connected a LumaSpa.io and you're familiar with that experience, some of this is going to look familiar, but some of it's also going to be a little bit different. So again, we've gone through and we've made some improvements to the connected experience. So you can see that my device is connected. If I had a low battery, it would also give me the battery status. If I go into device settings by tapping on that cog in the corner, I can see a bunch of different information. So a couple of things I want you to pay attention to on this page is firmware. So my firmware, as I mentioned earlier, is up to date. But if I had an update that was available to me, this is where I would come to update it. So not only is it important to keep your Vera app up to date, but it's also really important to keep your firmware up to date, because as we're updating the software on the mobile app as well as the device, we're improving things, we're fixing bugs, we're just making the experience better. So you always want to keep all those things up to date. The other thing you can do is always start the routines muted. So this will come in play when I show you the routines, when I go through that demo. Maybe you prefer to listen to a podcast or watch YouTube, or I don't know, do something else. So if you're not a person that wants those sound bites, you can just go in here, set that, and every routine will start with it. Otherwise, they will start with a different sound bite. So I'm gonna go ahead and go out of here. And I'm just gonna kind of go top down as we go through this. So I do have an area for favorite routines. This is really great. So if I go in and let's say I've already been using this for a little bit and I really, really like to use the Revitalize app, I can go ahead and favorite that. It's gonna show up in a couple different areas. It's gonna show up on the My Routines tab. So your favorite routines, you can access them according to the routine type, as well as the device details page. So if you know that there are different routines that you really like, you connect your device, you come to the device details page, you tap on play, you go right into that routine. But if I want to browse around a little bit, I can go through and explore the different routines that are available for the different categories. And of course, for time's sake, I'm not going to go through all these in its entirety. Some of these do get a little bit long, but I do want to show how they look. And then after that, I'm going to show you how you can customize them. So let's go into Revitalize. And I'm going to go into the Quick Full Body Revitalize. There's a couple of bits of information that you're going to see as you browse these routines. We're going to tell you how long it's going to take. we're also going to tell you the body areas that it's targeting. Because quick full body revitalize, maybe that's not entirely clear of what areas you're looking at. And so we want to make sure that we're clear as possible. So you can see revitalized legs, the legs are highlighted. And so you know that, okay, this is a routine that's going to target my legs. So if I go into quick full body revitalize, it's going to give me a little bit of an overview. It's going to tell me the amount of time. It's going to tell me the sound bite that it's using. It will also tell me the products that I need for that topical, the serum or the gel. In this case, we need to add a little bit more information, which is why you see this loading. But then it's also going to give me a preview of what areas of the body I'm going to target and for how long. So I'm going to go ahead and run this routine. So I tap on run routine, and there's that sound. So you could keep it running and it'll just go ahead with the whole routine, because I don't want it to run as part of my demo. I am going to go ahead and mute it though by tapping on that left button. But the app is going to walk you through every step. So as I mentioned, I have my device here, and actually my app turned on my device. I didn't have to press the power button again. It had actually gone into standby mode. I don't know if you could hear that, but it made the little sound when the device powers off. And by launching this routine, the app said, hey, WellSpa, it's time for you to come back to life. And so it turned back on. So I have my topical, and I'm gonna apply the topical to my arm. It's gonna take just a second so I can rub that in. I'm gonna wipe off my hand, and then I'm going to touch the device to my skin. So as soon as I have that conductivity, I don't know if you could hear, but it made the little doo-doo sound. And then it also has that white noise. So I know the device is on, and it's actively sending microcurrent through my skin. It has an active connection to my skin. So as we're looking at the tutorial, at the routine, we have some videos to help guide you through. I get mixed up with the types of routines, honestly, you guys. Like, I have a little sticky note on my desk so that I remember which routine type is which really does help me. But these videos also help in knowing, okay, with Revitalize, I want to do that movement up and then those circular motions that Haley talked about earlier. So this routine is going to show me a couple things. And actually, so that I can show you a little bit, I'm going to remove the device from my skin. I don't know if he knows that. As soon as that connection was lost, my routine is paused. So the app and the device are actively talking to each other. There's a lot of data that's being passed back and forth. So at this point, I can either skip the area or I can touch the device to my skin again to resume. If I want to see what's upcoming, I can tap on that little arrow. It's going to show me, oh, I just got a movement alert. Not sure if you heard that or not. So I can see all the information and what it is that I'm doing next. So I mentioned Empower data. If you see in the bottom, the middle, those white and blue rings with the ageLOC logo, that is real-time data that the device is sending to the app. So the white rings represent power, so you know the device is working. Again, I have an active connection to my skin. I still have it on my arm. And then those blue rings are the microcurrent. So that microcurrent is being transmitted into my skin, doing all of those great things that give me those great benefits with regular usage. So one thing I want to note on the blue microcurrent rings is that these are really individual to you. So I've done a demo of WellSpaiO a few times, and depending on how much product I have, the microcurrent might not be as high. So those rings might be a little bit lower. If I'm doing a demo in the office versus my home, maybe my home is a little bit more humid, the humidity is a little bit higher, so that microcurrent can also be different. Even the part of my body, maybe I put on lotion on my legs earlier, and so there's a better connection because of the lotion plus the topical that I'm using. So it's really important to note that those blue rings, they're not good or bad, they just are. They're just showing you that, hey, guess what? There's smart stuff happening. This device is constantly adapting to my skin. It's making sure that I have a comfortable experience and that I will see those benefits. The other thing I mentioned that it'll let me know when it's time to add some serum. So I'm gonna go to an area of my arm where I don't have quite as much serum. There you go. So you see how the rings turned orange? And it's going to ask me, it's gonna say, hey, I think you don't have quite enough product on. It's time to add some more. In this case, I'm at the end of the routine, or excuse me, at the end of the session. So it's going to prompt me to go to the next one. So I'm going to go ahead, just add a little bit more serum to my arm. Rub it in again. I want to show you that, that message again, which is why I'm doing this. So I touched the device to my arm. As soon as I did, it activated. It said, hey Vera, I'm ready to go. And so Vera responded and said, okay, let's get going on this next section. So you can see that microcurrent, it's really flowing. But a lot of that's probably because I have really great connectivity because I just added more product. So again, if I go to a part of my arm where maybe I don't have quite as much product or I've been using it. Oh, did you see right there where the circles disappeared and the ageLOC logo kind of flashed? That's called a comfort control event. And so what's happening then is, like I mentioned, the device is constantly adapting to your skin to make sure that it's as comfortable as possible for you and your experience. So I lost connection with my skin really quickly. So it pauses automatically. Sorry, my arm's getting a little tired holding it up. I'm trying to trigger that serum event again. Let's see if it's gonna do it. I must have added too much product. I'm a victim of my own demo. Oh, there we go. So it's gonna say again, hey, I think you need to add more. So I'm gonna take the device off, the routine pauses, add more product, connect again to my skin. And then it should disappear in a second. Oops. I actually didn't add more product. I probably should have. Let me go ahead and add more product. I was trying to be smart. Apparently I'm not smarter than the device and the app as they talk to each other. So I've just added more product to my arm. And you can see those rings, they went crazy because I have a lot more product. So the reason that you're still seeing those orange rings for a minute is because the device and the app are talking to each other and doing calculations so that it does know when you've reached that optimal level of the topical product that you're using. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the next area, and it's gonna do the same thing. It's gonna say, okay, that session is complete. Let's move on to the next one. Touch the device to your skin to begin. So for the sake of time, I'm gonna go ahead and end that routine. So at this point, it is gonna calculate my score. And on the routine summary page, it's gonna give me some information. It does show that I've done 9 minutes of my daily goal today. I was doing some testing earlier, and so I know I haven't done 9 minutes right now, but the device has sent that information to Vera to say, hey, guess what? Trina's used her device earlier in the day, and the total throughout the day is 9 minutes. So even though in this particular routine, I did 5 minutes, throughout the day, I've done a total of 9 minutes. And so in order to meet that goal, it's not like you have to do it all at once during one sitting per day. So I've heard from leaders that have been involved with some early previews that they might do like their arms in the morning, maybe their legs in the evening, along with their abdomen. So really, it's very customizable to you and your lifestyle and how you want to use the device. And as those logs are transferred, so when you connect your WellSpaiO to Vera, Vera knows how much you've used it throughout the day. And I'll show you that in the usage tracker. So you can see, again, how much I've done for the day and how far that gets me on my weekly goal. So I'm currently at 14% of my weekly goal. I do see an overview of what I've treated, and then I can go ahead and finish that up. So if this is a routine that I really like I mentioned, I can go ahead and favorite it. Or if I say, I really like this routine, but I would like to make some slight modifications to it, I can go ahead and customize it. So I can give it my own image. I can give it my own name. Let's call it Trina's. I can adjust the amount of time. So maybe I'm not as concerned about my arms, so I can drop the time a little bit. increase my abdomen, whatever suits my time, my lifestyle, and how I want to use the device. And then we talked about sounds before. So if I don't like this sound, I can go ahead and I can choose a different one. Sounds are kind of fun. They make me happy. Or if I just don't want any sound, I can choose no sound also. And I can go ahead and update the sound and then save that routine. And now it's going to be shown to me in my routines. You can see here Trina's, as well as that quick access from the main device details page. We've talked about the IO score, but we also want to make sure that it's front and center to you. We want you to meet your goals. We want you to be able to see those results that are really important to you. And so we show you this overview of how much you use your device, how far you are in your weekly goal. And you can tap on this card to give you a weekly breakdown overview. So you can see that I used my device a little bit yesterday and more today. It also reminds me of what my goal is. And maybe things change a little bit. I decide, at 19 minutes, 4 days a week is a little bit much. I can actually go in and edit my goal at any point in time. Or maybe I decide, hey, I can actually up my usage. Same thing, I can go in and change it at any point in time. And if I want a little bit more information, I tap on the little eye in the top right corner. And again, it's gonna give me an overview of my goals and just give me a little bit more information about what IO score is and how to get a perfect one. And now I'm gonna go down and talk about usage tracking and badges and awards. So the badges and awards is very similar to what we had in LumaSpa if you're familiar with that connected experience. One thing that we have added is this concept of an active challenge. Maybe there's something I want to work towards, and so I can go ahead and manage my challenges. It's going to show me all of the challenges that are available to me, and I would really like to earn a 5-day streak. So I can go ahead and select that. If I save it, it's going to show up on the device details dashboard. And so I always know where I'm at in that badge. And once I've earned it, I can go ahead and add a new one. So I can compete against myself, which I love doing. I can also go in and see when I've used my device. So again, similar to LumaSpa, we have the usage tracker. It's a calendar. There's a few differences though, because there are so many potential sessions and body areas that you can treat. We didn't call out the for every session that you've done on this calendar view because it gets a little bit messy. So what we've done instead is given an overview of, okay, in the last 30 days, I've used my device 9 days, and then the trending, am I up or down based on the last 30 days of usage. So if I go into today, you're gonna see the different areas, or excuse me, the different routines that I've done. And within that, all of these are connected, meaning I was using Vera with my WellSpaiO IO. So that's why it shows me I did a quick full body revitalize, I did a quick full body restore, I've done a couple other things. Those, I believe that's in Indonesian, Malay. I was doing some translation testing earlier. And if I go into these, it's going to give me an overview of that routine. So I can see the total time, the number of areas, and all of those details. One thing that's a little bit different is if I don't use my device with my phone, which is totally fine. And we know that you're not going to be using Vera every single time. Sometimes it just isn't conducive to whatever's going on at the moment. But we still want you to know when you're using it. So we do track those sessions as well, and they'll show up as offline sessions. Let me see if I can find one. I had one earlier, meaning not today, but most of the sessions I do are connected ones. So you can see here that I've done an offline session, and the way that you know it's offline versus online is by that little phone icon. So if the phone icon has that line through it, then you know that was a session that you performed, a treatment that you did without being connected to Vera. So if I tap on that, it's gonna show me the number of offline sessions. So if I had done multiple, it's going to show me the session and how long I use it, so I can still keep track of my usage of how much and how long I've been using my device. And that takes me to the end of my demo. I'll stop sharing really quickly. I hope that the demo has given you a better overview of how you can maximize your wellness and beauty goals when you pair your ageLOC WellSpaiO device with Nu Skin Vera. So we talked about how pairing works, how to set your goals and track them, and then how you can create personalized routines for your specific needs. And again, I want to reiterate, Vera and the connected features of WellSpaiO are continually being updated and added to. So it's really important. Keep Nu Skin Vera up to date, as well as updating your firmware when there's a firmware update. We want to make sure you don't miss out on new and upcoming features, which we actually have a few that are coming out pretty quickly here. So this is really the power of connectivity, wellness, and beauty all in one device.